Good afternoon, Flosstube friends. I have been missing you so much, and we have just had the busiest few months, and I apologize for not being back on here, but stitching had not been happening until the last few weeks. In my job, we do 10-hour days in the summer, 4 days a week, and that gives us Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. But once those 10-hour days start, by the time you get to Friday, you are exhausted. And it has been such a busy spring going into summer with extended family goings on, all of which have been positive, that I really was not getting much stitching done. But I'm back and I hope to be more regular. I appreciate your patience with me. This is Flosstube number 68. If you have not been with me before, my name is Sharon, and the channel name is Magnolia Nana because I am originally from the southeast of the United States, where the magnolia is a well-loved flower, and it is one of my favorites. And then I'm a Nana, so that's where that channel name came from. Welcome if you are new. If you are one who has watched before and been with me a long time, I thank you. It means so much to have you coming back to watch and giving me comments and suggestions. I don't have a lot of stitching to show you, but what I do have is different from what you've seen a lot of from me lately. I do have some plans, and toward the end, I will do some live updates in case you want to stop the video before that. But it's great to be here. This is Wednesday, June 9th, and I'm filming on my lunch hour so that this gets done. Hopefully it can be uploaded by tonight. So I have been catching up on some Flosstube, and for some reason in the last month or so, I have watched a lot of people who do full coverage pieces, almost exclusively. And if you remember from my channel, I just haven't done much of any full coverage except a couple of architectural designs that were from our travel. And so that is what I have pulled out, because I thought before I order a Hade or Pain-Free Crafts or even the Scarlet Quince, I would see how I do on this tiny full coverage that we had purchased from our travels. So we're going to start with that one. This is Peace Field, which is the Adams, John and Abigail Adams home in Quincy, Massachusetts, which we had visited many years ago with our children. This was one of our favorite stops on a trip to Boston that we were able to tour this lovely home. And it is going to be in the finished size, only 5 by 7. So I thought this is a perfect one to see how we do. So I haven't done much time-wise on this, but look how nicely that's progressing. So I did the sky all the way across to get an idea of the width. And now this, sorry to be such a wiggle worm, going down to here, there might be a couple more rows here, but that is the bottom. So you're seeing the whole size. And this I'll show you in the picture. It's just one corner of the house, and of course the beautiful trees on that side. This is done on the fabric that came in the kit, which is, does it even say 18 count? So this is 18 count Ada. And so far, 2 over 1. That is what the kit called for. So again, I am working right here. So we've got the whole sky down the side and right up to here. So after watching some of these full coverage people, I've decided to do like sections of this and then move over, but also try not to do a straight line so that I end up with page lines, so to speak. So far, so good. I've enjoyed it very much. I do not normally stitch in hand, but I have been on this because it works out well. And this will hopefully be easy for us to frame ourselves. It is by the Posy collection. Yes, the Posy collection. She has designed a lot of historic homes and buildings, and we have even purchased several of those. So I need to get them done. This one I'm hoping will be a fun finish. Then my next project is one that I raved about the last time I saw you. It is my Owl Forest Embroidery Sweet Home. And I have not one negative thing to say about this kit. It has been a delight from beginning to where I am now. The fabric is wonderful. The floss is beautiful. The design is so easy to read. If you remember, it's a colored chart, and they even give you little sections of the chart that you cut out and put on your design to read from. I would stitch every Owl Forest if it was a design I liked. This has been an amazing stitch. So I want to show you where I am now. I'm going to take the needle minder off, but I want to show you again. This came with it. Isn't that the cutest? And I don't have a lot of needle minders, so I have enjoyed that. So this is where I have stopped for this, up to this point. And I hope those colors will come through just a small bit of how beautiful they are. Each floss is over dyed, so it is variegated. And it's an overcast day, people. I hope you can see. We try to pick a good day to film, and you know, we have just not had sunshine the last many days. So I just finished the house. I had started with the lady in the middle who is stitching. And if you remember, they give you a dog or a cat. Of course, I chose a dog. And then I moved over and did the adorable sewing machine. And this is a little tiny quilt. There are a couple more motifs that need to go in this section. But then I moved up and did the gardening boots, the darling birdhouse, the gardening spade, and then this, of course, is a key. And then I just needed to do some more of that blue. So I went up and did the watering can and the little side table with the plant, and then moved over to the house. So the size of this is about, you see what they've given you, I think, extra fabric, because I do know that this is the border here on the side, and that will be the edge. So what do you have, a couple of inches maybe? I posted a picture on Instagram just yesterday, I guess, of this, but I wish I could show you, which it's not coming through, the quality of this beautiful linen. And maybe up close you can see the variegation better. For example, with that blue, all those flowers are the same thread, same floss. There's just that much variegation. And the same with the pink flowers. All the same, just beautiful variegation. So Owl Forest, you have really achieved cross-stitch success. I'm in love with your kit. I'm in love with your materials. And that pattern is the easiest to follow I think I've ever stitched. So if you have any of theirs, start them. If you don't, I encourage you to order. They just, beautiful customer service, no problems. Have fun with that. And you know that I have several of those in my stash. Not kits, but patterns. But I think we're going to order some more of the floss to go with the kits, or the patterns we ordered, because it is such beautiful, beautiful floss. I should probably show you quickly again how it came attached to the bobbins, but then you bobbinate. But this is an example of the green. Maybe you can see that beautiful variegation. Just fun to work on. And they are 6-ply. I think it is DMC that's been over dyed. So you use 2/2 for the design. 2/2 on whatever count linen this is. I'm thinking 32. It's got to be 32 count. Yes, 32 count. And it is Zweigart Belfast. Okay, my third whip is one that was gifted to me by my dear friend Donna. And this one is Rosewood Manor. It is called Music Amongst the Trees. And again, another addicting stitch. Once you stitch one tree, you just want to stitch another tree. And I love the birds and the other little woodland creatures, bunny, squirrel, and just all those tiny trees. But I especially love the sentiment. There is always music amongst the trees in the garden, but our hearts must be very quiet to hear it. I think we've all been focusing on quiet hearts this year, so this really spoke to me. And Donna, it is as much fun as it was in the beginning, so thank you again. So let me see if there is any way to hold this whole thing up. Probably not, but we will try. Okay. No, I'm going to have to do it in sections. Okay, so this tree is finished, of course, and the little bird. Then the sentiment is completely finished across the bottom. Then if you see, that tree in the middle was the one that we did first and worked up to the owl and that other bird. But then over here on this side is the newest stitching. So you've got that tree that really does look like a Christmas tree. Isn't that beautiful? And her different greens that she chose that get darker and darker so gradually. Then this funny little tree that I'm in the middle of, see this thread, sorry about that. This one gave me a little trouble. So I've got to get back to it. I don't think I have to frog anything, but I really was having to count super carefully. So the size of this one will be, this is also 32 count white linen from Hobby Lobby. So this will be the size, pretty large. It will need to be framed professionally, I think, but oh, I can't wait to finish this one either. I think I almost have a spot in mind to hang it. So Music Amongst the Trees by Rosewood Manor, and I am using DMC on this one. It does not give any other alternative. She just uses DMC on this one. You know, Rosewood Manor uses a lot of Valdani threads, but on this particular one, it is strictly DMC, and the colors are just luscious. So that is it. Now, I want to show 2 items of haul, and then I want to talk about plans and a quick life update, so we won't make this too long. I am not buying any cross stitch, or at least not much. But I was watching Shanda, am I saying her name properly? Shanda, Stitching in Idaho, on the Continental Divide. I'm not sure what her channel name is, but I will put it down below. And she was showing the most beautiful older work that she had done that was from the Cricket collection, and it is called Shadows. It is a silhouette of a stitcher, beautiful piece. And I just said, well, that's got to come home. So I got on 1, 2, 3 Stitch, and it was on sale, as was this other one that I'm going to show you. The problem with Shadows is that it was on back order, so I do not have it in my hand, but I ordered one other chart. You know, one cannot travel alone, plus you have to pay shipping anyway. This one did come in, and I'm waiting on Shadows. This is one I've wanted to stitch for a long time, and I've just kept ignoring it, so to speak. But it's going to be so much fun for Thanksgiving. Be ye thankful. And I hope you can see that. And then you get also the pattern for the little acorn. Isn't that adorable? So I had the idea today, as I was speaking to my daughter about this when it came in the mail today, that instead of Christmas in July, maybe I should do Thanksgiving in July work on this one and finish the one that I had started last year that is also a Thanksgiving or Harvest Blessings piece. So we'll see if that happens. I also have some Christmas pieces I need to work on. So I'm thinking along the lines of Thanksgiving in July. Do it our own way, right? So be ye thankful. And I think I will try to do it on the same fabric that I used for the one that needs to be finished. They could almost hang nearby. We'll see. I may use the called for. But it also calls for overdyed, or you can use DMC. So I'll probably use DMC. Then my husband had visited a really fabulous bookstore we have here in Texas called Half Price Books. And sometimes, occasionally, they will have cross-stitch magazines or they will have patterns. Well, guys, he sent me this picture on his phone and he said, do you want this? Look at this gorgeous sampler. $1.99, people, for this pattern. It is Reproduction Sampler number 3, and it is designed by Sandra Sullivan, and it's Homespun Elegance, which I remember from back in the day. It's an old pattern, but obviously reproduced from a historic sampler. And the name is Lucy Red Sampler. Now, I don't know if you remember the sampler I was working on where I was trying to decide about tea dyeing my fabric. That went into the basket and it hadn't even come out. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about tea or coffee dyeing, but it's the same colors. These blues are the same and the golds, they're both so close. So wouldn't that be lovely on a wall together? This one is definitely on an antiqued looking fabric. So we'll see what happens. And this won't be on the list this year, no way. But I was thrilled to get that. It's just gorgeous. And the verses are very lovely, very typical of these historic samplers. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'll give you some more history on this one when I start it. Okay, so plans for the rest of June. I want to focus on getting closer to a finish on Sweet Home, the Owl Forest piece, Music Amongst the Trees, the Rosewood Manor piece, and as much progress as I can get on Peace Field, because now I'm enjoying that as a small stitch in hand project. And then I have one more that I want to focus for moving toward a finish, and this was the stitch along that I was doing with my daughter from My Big Toe, and it's called Peace, Quaker Peace. And I love the idea of doing 100 stitches per night, and I want to give credit to the Flosstuber who first spoke of that, and now I cannot even remember whose Flosstube I saw it on. Oh, people, I'm so behind on Flosstube, but I love the idea, and I will do my best to find that person and give that person credit. So I would like to do this as 100 stitches per night before I pull out one of the other 3 projects to try to get some progress on it. I love it so much. Other things called. This is all that I have so far. This is stitched with some floss that came in a kit that I had acquired in Scotland. Oh, I'm so embarrassed I can't remember the name of it. But I'm using 2 blues and I'm doing 1/1 on, what is this? Is this 32 count even weave? Well, anyway, they're tiny little stitches, but it is a lovely stitch, and that verse needs to be hanging in my home. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, nor let it be afraid. Definitely a life verse. So I'm doing the whole thing in those 2 blues, and my daughter is doing hers all one color blue. It's just beautiful. So hopefully she and I can make some progress on this one. So those are the plans. Every other WIP you've seen in the last few months will come back out. But for some reason, focusing on these has been what I needed for this busy summer. So if you need to go get on with things, you feel free to end here. If you have not subscribed, please do come back and like and all those good things we do on YouTube. If you have a moment to stay for life updates, I will do that quickly, and then I will end so that I can get back to work. So our last few months have been so full of major blessings and milestones in our family. We have 3 of our children who graduated with varying levels of college. Our youngest son finished his undergraduate very successfully while working full-time in a professional job. Amazing. Then one of our daughters, who is the gifted musician and music teacher, graduated with her master's degree. We were blessed to attend that graduation. We flew up to North Carolina and were a part of that. They held it outdoors. It was just lovely. We'd never been to Asheville, North Carolina before. So that was a beautiful weekend, and we're so proud of her. She teaches music full time and will continue to do so, but what a milestone for her. And then another of our sons finished his doctorate in his chosen field and is now in the workforce, starting his career and just doing beautifully. That graduation was virtual, so we were able to attend online, but so proud of him. So, oh my goodness, my heart overflows thinking about it, but you can see how busy we've been. Then we were blessed to spend the Memorial Day weekend with another of our sons to help him with his 2-year-old while his wife was out of town. And so we enjoyed that sweet granddaughter and the beautiful lake and lake house that belongs to his wife's family. Felt so spoiled, just scenery everywhere, and he had amazing food and just such a host, and of course loving on that 2-year-old sweetheart. And then our oldest grandson became a teenager. So we spent last weekend celebrating that precious birthday and spending some time with his sister and brothers and just loving on them. When I say I don't have time to stitch, I need to remember that what's most important are those relationships with those precious children and grandchildren. I feel so blessed. So that is a short update on that. And then, as I said, work has been 4-day weeks, but 10-hour days. We are still working from our homes most days, although we are on campus 1 day a week, occasionally 2 days a week, but we will be going back on campus in July. So everything will be returning to normal, if there is such a thing. A lot of changes as far as policies and schedules just because of the post-COVID situation in higher education. But I'm looking forward to being back in-house in the library, seeing our students again, and being back with my coworkers. We've tried to stay in touch on Zoom. We work together occasionally. It's not on Zoom, it's on Teams, sorry. We work together occasionally, but that day-to-day interaction, I'm looking forward to that. So back to that in July. And what else have I forgotten? Lucy is doing beautifully. We have her on a supplement for her itchy skin, and her coat is now just beautiful. She's probably about the same weight-wise. When we were out of town for my daughter's graduation, we let her stay, or graciously, our son and his girlfriend took turns watching her while we were gone. And that stinker would not eat while we were gone. So she had lost down to 13 pounds when we got her home. It was not their fault. They put cheese on top and did everything. She was pouting. So she came back looking really good, but I think she's put that back on. So we're probably at about 13.5 pounds, but she is still a blessing. We are loving her. She has not enjoyed all the thunderstorms we've been having. So I've been calling her my Velcro dog, because when we have a storm, she's either right beside me, touching up against my leg, or she's with my husband under his chair or even in his lap. So we're hoping for some better weather for us and for Lucy. Let me close. I need to get back to work. Thank you for your time today. As always, we love our craft and we love sharing what we're doing. So let's hope that I'll have enough progress to be back much sooner, or at least by the end of June or beginning of July. We'll see what happens, but thank you for your time and take good care. Sending love. See you soon. Bye-bye.